Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's 2024. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good holiday season, stayed safe, had a good time. But the game never stops. Trading continues. Let's get back in the game. The show goes on, folks. Game doesn't stop. So let's get back into trading. Let's do a 4-hour sweep here. Take a look at our 4 hours, see what's above us, what's below us, what's happened, what's changed since last week. Let's just get right back into it and have a good start to 2024. All right, so speaking of a good start to 2024, good game Buckhorn on a higher high. Had a good pump over the last, there's a 12-hour pump there over the last day or so, 24 hours. I don't know what that's about, but good game. I think Bitcoin's done very well lately, given all the negative news headlines. Kind of on topic, off topic at the same time. There was another exploit the other day. It wasn't good at all. Pretty terrible. Hold on a second. Let me find. What was it? One of the biggest hacks of DeFi. Yeah, Uniswap got wrecked. Completely wrecked. So, good game. Uniswap got completely wrecked with an exploit, and millions of dollars were stolen apparently. So I don't know what the fallout's going to be there. We just keep getting these things in crypto. Like it was, what was it, Ledger like a couple weeks ago. Now Uniswap. I mean, it's just they keep happening. You're gonna see a lot of that. I mean, there's billions of dollars involved, and it's a technology, which means there's code involved, and insecure code gets exploited. It's just the way that it works. That's how cybersecurity works. It's mostly code. It's mostly programming errors, to be honest, and people making mistakes, and someone figuring out the mistake and exploiting it before it can be fixed. So anyway, good game, Bitcoin. Crypto has held surprisingly well given all the negative headlines. Good game. Waiting for it to get a little bit higher. Don't need to go over too far to the left. I mean, we just got some highs here, some higher time frame, like weekly level kind of highs. We're really getting back into the that dense area where a lot of people are trapped in the mid 40s and 50s. There's a lot of traders that got trapped up here when we went up there last time. So I don't know. We'll see. Good game. It's still up. You got a higher high here on Bitcoin. Good game. Good game. So nothing really to do there yet. Right this second, I probably wouldn't do anything. I mean, it's way up right now. We don't want to buy it on a higher high, but good game. I mean, good game. I mean, we had chances when it was lower, but still just not a good long-term investment. But, I say that with a caveat. I don't know. We'll see. Some people seem to believe that the bull run has started. I have my doubts. I have my reservations, we'll say, until we can get through this halving right here. I don't know. We're not there yet. We still got like 5 months or something like that to get to the halving. Until we can get there and see what's going to happen, I don't know. We'll see. But good game, as far as price is concerned and trading is concerned. Intraday, like day trading and shorter term swing trading is concerned. Like, it's probably not a good idea to buy the top, buy the high of the year. But terrible joke. So yeah, still would have been the high of 2023 too. Anyway, good game, Bitcoin. What's up? Good game. Nothing to say right now as far as a day trade is concerned. Moving on to the dollar. Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low again. We nailed this last week. On a side note, boy, we crushed it last week. We really, really did well trading last week. We killed everything. I think I got stopped out on one trade out of all the trades we took all week. It was like the last day. The NASDAQ had a small long, I think NASDAQ, and it got stopped out. But we got everything else right. We almost went 100% last week until the NASDAQ sold off at the end of the week. So we crushed it. We killed it. If you go back and look at what we actually did, but part of that was dollar long here, and basket of the dollar, especially dollar CAD, but euro dollar short. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But getting the low on the dollar right here, and we're working our way up now. I think as far as today is concerned, this is like some lower time frame stuff we were just talking about in the group, but probably looking to go a little bit higher. You don't want to buy it right now. We've exceeded our range for the day, and we're running into some lower time frame supply, also a structural break. Probably just not a really good place to start buying it. It's not a good place at all to start buying it. However, the dollar is very low on the macro. Like we're down a lot. We're starting to make a move off the low. Hold on a second. Voice wrecked. Hold on. Yikes. Hold on one second. Sip of the old hot chocolate. So yeah, dollar is making a move off the low. It's starting to come back up. As far as what do we do right now with it, probably nothing after that. After this run right here, probably nothing going into, first day kind of after the holidays, first normal day. Market's still going to be relatively thinner volume right now, probably for another week or two, but there's still stuff to do. But as of right now, we probably just don't want to buy this after that. You know what I mean? Probably not a good idea. It may not be a short yet. We're watching this. I've got an alert set. I want to know what happens when we get up here. And there's a possibility of a day trade pullback there on the dollar itself, the dollar index. We'll come back to that. Moving on. The yen. Higher lows, also lower highs, range contraction. Traditional chartists may look at it like this. It's a range contraction. We've got progressively reduced volatility over time, working itself down into nothing. Not the best scenario here. Gosh, my voice is wrecked. I'm exhausted, man. Gosh, we had family over and did a whole bunch of stuff. Gosh, went ice skating for the first time in like 20 years. That was, oh my gosh, that was exhausting. I was about to die. Man, my lower back and my calves were pumped so bad. She's about to die. It was fun though. My little niece wanted me to go with her. I was like, all right. And boy, you don't realize how much of a workout that is. We went and did like snow tubing and a bunch of stuff all over the place, doing a whole bunch of stuff. Been busy having people over, trying to get back to it now, back to normal life. But yeah, I'm exhausted. Yeah, so again, back to trading. Higher lows, lower highs, range contraction. Not really much to do here. I'm not a huge fan of trading from a neutral point, like where we have this equilibrium. We're kind of just like working our way around it. Not really a big fan of trading there because there's really no advantage. There's no leverage there. I would probably wait for this to start making a move either up or down, and then maybe we can make a better decision. I'd really like for this to pull down a little bit and retest the low. If this would come down just overall, as far as what we're looking for on a macro, like if this would come back a little bit and do something like that and then make that move, that would be much better. To come like try to retest the low but hold, make that higher low. Let's get that transition, lower low to higher low, and then take off. That would be much better. Yeah. So that's a thing. Not really much to do right now. It's pretty tight. Kind of skipping yen pairs is the point. We'll just skip it for now. What else? Aussie dollar. We talked about the dollar, where it is. I think the Aussie's been strong though. This dollar pulls back a little bit. This may pull back up. Crazy because this is on a higher high. Like this is not a long. It's not a good long. We're up on a higher high in structure. Like we're pushing on the highs up here. And this has been up for a while. Like it's not something you want to be buying into like for a swing or anything. Yeah, probably nothing right now. I could understand this kind of doing this sideways a little bit more of a distribution. It's probably going to move back up when the dollar sells off. The dollar's on the high, and when that pulls back, this is probably going to put in a bullish candle. So it's not great. Skip it for now. Hold on. Next, euro dollar. What a trade. That was a good one the other day. Still working our way down. I'm not in this anymore. I had to close out of it because I had to be flat on Friday, but we're still rocking. We still got plenty of room to run down. Very good trade. That was a good one. That was one of the better trades from last week. Very accurate, sitting at 140 pips right now with more to go. This could be a much bigger trade than that. I'm going to probably try to get back into this when the dollar pulls back. But again, it was just off the higher high. We keep catching it. Crushed it. We really did well last week, honestly, for the amount of just non-existent market, like thin activity. We did pretty well. If this would pull back up a little bit, probably don't need that anymore. Let's do this. Adjust our charts. We'll say we want to know when we get back up to there. Potential rejection point maybe earlier than that, but we kind of got this effective trading range right now. We'll wait and see what happens. If this gets down here or breaks that, possibly. Sometimes these things will break. Depends on where we are within the weekly range. Have to look and see how close that is to the weekly low. Yeah, this thing may be we may be running down here. But yeah, good game, euro dollar. Got a strong dollar right now. The euro had been strong for so long and pushed the dollar down, and now that's kind of flipping, and we're going to get to that. That was kind of the whole spiel last week. The whole analysis was what was going on between the euro and the dollar. That was the whole big play. There wasn't much else to do. But yeah, euro dollar, good game. Probably got a little bit more to go. In an ideal world, we would still be short from the other day and letting this thing roll. But there'll be chances to get back in. We're down like parabolic right now. Let it pull back a little bit. It's probably going to bounce back up too. There's always both sides of the equation. Euro yen, kind of in line with the yen with the contraction. You can start to see this like contraction, same as the yen. Like you're getting that reduced volatility scenario. It's not really an ideal scenario for trading. We want expanding markets, not contracting markets, and we're kind of getting a range contraction right now. Crazy, man. We had all of this stuff. We had all of this up here on the high. 1,000+ pips. We had all of this a couple weeks ago. We were scaling into all this yen. It just went. It just took off and kept going. But right now, it looks bearish right now. I wouldn't mess with it. I would let it try to get back to a range, some kind of a range low or something. Let it either go higher or lower. It's not a good place to trade from right now. Again, with the yen stuff, probably just skip it for now. Like, it's going to be the same for pound yen. It's just not a good thing to trade right this second. Find something else. Euro pound. This made sense. This had been up quite a bit, and we were waiting for exactly this pullback. However, if you look at where we are, structural inflection point right here, this is probably going to be some kind of a range in here. We don't want to be shorting this necessarily. Like, what if this comes back up and does this and ends up doing this kind of stuff? We don't want to sell it right now. So as far as euro pound, we would, as far as the dynamic between the euro and the pound, use this more of like an indicator almost than a trading instrument. I want to know whether the euro is going to be stronger than the pound, so I can weight my decision and weight my risk that way. So if the euro is likely to be stronger than the pound, then I would rather go long euro something than long pound something, right? So, as of right now, I could possibly see some kind of a range here. It's kind of what it looks like. You can see the structural break right here. This could be the bottom of a range that ends up pulling back up and doing this kind of crap. So probably don't want to sell it right now. We'll skip it. Maybe the euro is going to be stronger than the pound. The dollar's really pushing on that level. We might be getting our alert here. Euro CAD, still watching this one. Still would rather be long at the bottom down here. Every time this makes a lower low, looking to get back in it. And we got an alert ready. It didn't hit. Wow, it almost hit and didn't. Are you kidding me? How close was that to my alert? Jesus. This is 1 pip. It was like within the spread. Got that close to the bottom. Jesus. Well, if it'll break or something, if it'll start to shift, maybe it'll take a pullback. I think there's going to be a trade here. We'll come back to that. It's group stuff, but at the same time, maybe we can catch it. Waiting for it to break the low. And, whoops. Oh, that would have been devastating. Knock that drink over on my desk. Yeah, so if this would break the low, we'll figure something out there. It's going to be a trade. There will be a trade here. We don't know how far it's going to go yet, but we know with the oil situation, there's a possibility of a big run here on the CAD. Euro Kiwi, same thing, just still down here on the low. We keep catching it. As of right now, our last trade was correct. Hasn't been stopped out yet. Hasn't even been to break even yet. Waiting on that. Every time this makes a low, we're looking to get in it. There's a reasonable possibility here. If you look at the macro structure, talked about this for the last couple weeks. If you go back and look at our analysis videos, we've been watching this one. It just hasn't lifted yet. It keeps trying, but it hasn't started a trend yet. It's accumulating down here on a lower low, and there's a very, very good chance that at some point soon, this is going to do something like that. And that's going to be a big run. Remember, these are 4-hour candles. We're looking at macro structure here, but what direction should we be watching? Looking to buy the low of the day every day. This hasn't gone yet. Same situation here. Euro Aussie, probably the same thing. We kept getting it. This one went back to break even. It's not a short, I'll tell you that. Invalidated, but not a short. Let's go back here. What's back here? Yeah. Not much here. That's nothing. It's not. Just looking at where they were correct. One second. Curious. There may be something here. Technically, you got a lot of room down here. Be looking at that whole area, this whole dense area right here. But first, I want to know if the current buyers are correct. Before we look at that, so we'll say that. Yeah, so we still haven't died yet. I don't know. We'll watch this. If this would put in a low of the day, I would be interested in it on the low. If this would drop, then cool. And if it pops out of here, then I'm going to be taking pullbacks. But where this is, it's probably time to start watching this for some kind of a retracement. Very good chance that at minimum, this thing is going to, pop out of here or something like that. You can see the structure here. Good chance that we're very close to the bottom of the range, and it's just acting up right now. It's being ornery. That's what my grandfather would say. Being ornery. It's a weird word. It means it's not behaving very well. being stubborn. Pound dollar. Good game dollar. The dollar's been very strong, obviously. It's pushing on the high still. Yeah, so good game here. We'll watch the water line down here just in its simplest form and see if that ends up holding. It's a big consolidation. It's not a short. It's moved too far to short it, and the dollar is too close to a potential high. You might get hurt here trying to short this. And then maybe tomorrow it ends up and breaks the low or something. But if this ends up lower, maybe we'll try to pick it up here. There may be a trade here. We'll come back to that. It's just not it right now. Pound CAD, this has been good. We keep catching it. We're just back to the next. I mean, it's just right back on the low. We're watching the lows here. We may have to adjust this for the weekly range. Yeah, I mean, if it would put in a lower low, every time this makes a lower low, I'm going to try it again. I just want to see where our range was. But as of right now, we're right back into buyers that previously unresolved buyers. It's just right back into it. It still looks okay. It's still decent. Kind of depends on how strong the pound's going to be. We'll take a look at oil, try to figure out what the CAD's doing. But as of right now, it's not a short. This just isn't a short. So we'll skip that. Don't be surprised if it runs up. We're watching that one. Pound yen, that short was good right there. That was money. Again, in line with the yen, I would just probably leave this alone. The yen pairs are probably going to be the least desirable right this second until they start to actually do something. But once they start to move, there's going to be some trades there. But we got to see which way it's going to go first with the yen index. Just skipping the yen for now. Pound Swiss, good game. If that would flush out lower, we know what we're going to do. Good game. I think somebody caught this the other day, actually, on Thursday or Friday. Caught that off the low. Somebody from the group, I remember saying that they jumped on that. I haven't been messing with this one because it's been ranging too much, but all of a sudden the last couple of days it started to put a lower low in, and that can be good for a retracement. So we'll watch it. I used to trade this a lot, but it got crappy over the last 6 months or so. Very, very low volatility on Pound Swiss this last year. Used to be good. Nothing to do there really. Wait and see if it breaks the low. Skip it. Next, Pound Aussie. Running through everything. I think we talked about this one. We killed this, man. God, this was one of the best trades we've had lately. On structure, I mean, this was like a 700 pip trade. We got it within 4 pips of the high. I think it was within 4.2 pips and ran it down almost 700 pips. That was a very good trade. We called it in structure, called the second leg of the move before we even took the trade. That's exactly what happened. This was a market cycle trade that it played out perfectly. So now possibly even looking to go lower. I wouldn't want to buy into it yet. Not a long yet, but you don't want to sell it here either. You don't short this now, but it's not after that move, you don't short it, but it's just may not be the long yet, but there's probably going to be a long here. It's not there right now. We'll come back to that. Pound Kiwi may be a little different. We talked about this one a lot. We just talked about this one a few minutes ago before we started doing the video. We're on a lower low here. So it's time to start paying attention. If you look at the structure of this, we're way down, and it wouldn't be that crazy for it to retrace a little bit. We keep catching it. Right now, we're looking to buy the lows. If we get a low of the day or a lower low, looking to jump on it. But we're in a consolidation at the moment. It's not the best entry right now, but if it ends up lower, probably want to take a risk on that. We'll come back to that one. We got it marked for a reason. There's going to be a big trade there at some point. CAD yen, right in the middle of our effective trading range. There's nothing to do right this second. It's a yen pair. Again, all the yen pairs are squeezing in on themselves with less volatility. You would expect lower volatility, which is not the best market environment, right, for day trading. If you're expecting low volatility, you probably want to skip that, right? And all the yen pairs are doing that because the yen as an index is expected lower volatility. So all the yen pairs are going to fall in line with that lower volatility scenario, and we don't really want to mess with that. We're trying to risk our capital on something that's going to move, right? We want to risk our capital on the thing that's most likely to move. Swiss yen, again, yen. Swiss had a crazy move last week, actually. Had a really big move one of those days on the Swiss franc. And it went like way farther than expected. Just overall with the Swiss as an index. But yeah, same thing here. Not really much to do. I mean, starting to get some wicks on the bottom of these candles. I could see like a pop to the upside maybe on a 4-hour pop, but meh. Skippy McSkipperson right now. Dollar CAD, man, just still in the money. We keep catching this thing. We keep catching it. Caught it again on the low. I mean, we're just crushing this from last week. Still in it. And waiting for the lower low. Got the alert here ready at a very specific level. It's there for a reason. Waiting to see if this is going to make that lower low. But as of right now, this looks like we're pushing up through. I mean, not even going to bother putting targets up here, really. We'll watch that for now. But if I can get my mouse. Come on. But yeah, this is looking good. Good game. Dollar CAD still got up magically. Hold on, let's take a quick second to look at this. That also puts us, that supply level in the 4-hour also puts us at the high of the day. Yeah, it's not a long right now. Expecting it to go higher. We would still be in it from the other day. Came back, retested, bounced, same spot. I mean, we just nailed this and expecting higher. And if it were to come back and make a lower low, I want to get back in it. Waiting for it to pull back to get back in dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is one of those kingmaker trades. Like this is coming and people are going to pass challenges and like make large profits on this trade when it happens. It's coming. This is going to be one of those that's just, it's obvious. And we've talked about this for weeks and we're waiting for it to play out. We keep catching it and we're waiting for it to just make the move. This was a monster here. Nothing to do. Waiting for it to finish out. Waiting for the dollar right now. All right. The elephant in the room. This U.S. stock market indices. The U.S. equities market. The elephant in the room. What the heck is going on here? Running up right at the end of the year. Santa Claus rally. No tax selling. Like nothing really sold off. Not very much. It had one day a sell off and it ground its way higher. Kind of funny. Right to the end of the year. So here we go. We're finally getting some downside today. Lower low today. Big nasty candle. The big dirt McNasty here. We're waiting for this to close. We talked about this a few minutes ago before we in the group stuff. We're just going to wait for this to close, and when it pulls back, we're going to make some decisions. We already know what we're looking for there. As far as the general structure is concerned, the S&P is the only one that never made the all-time high. The Dow and the NASDAQ blew their all-time highs out, especially the Dow Jones. We were talking about this a minute ago. It just doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Also take note of where large cap crypto is on a higher high. with the stock market starting to sell off, there's a potential here for a multi-week downside move here. It's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen. Question's going to be when. I was hoping the S&P was going to break the all-time high last week. I'm sitting here waiting for it. We had alerts ready, waiting for it to pop the all-time high so we could start scaling in. It just never did. It was the one of the big three that didn't. The Dow and the NASDAQ broke their highs significantly, and the S&P didn't make it. But it's starting to sell off now, and every time we get a higher high, we know this, like every time it gets a higher high, becomes a short. So what it looks like is, we've got this kind of situation right now, and what's going to happen? How are we going to just continue on down for the rest of the week? Probably put in a red week. It's a very real possibility. And then we could be like distributing sideways up here for a couple weeks. Like that's a realistic expectation. And then eventually it's going to pull back down quite a bit. But every time this makes a higher high, we're looking to sell it. Trying to get skybox seats to the show. That is, that was a target high. Dow Jones, same situation. Every time it makes a higher high, we've had this. Every time it makes a higher high, it's just down she goes. Now the question is, now what? I think it's some lower time frame stuff. It doesn't need to be there anymore. This kind of stuff can probably be adjusted, but you can just see the lows just in its simplest form. There's no big secret here. You can see where your buyers were. There's a very likely low of a range right here somewhere before it snaps. There's a big, no volume right here. We'll see what happens when we'll assume that this is going to go lower. But we're not making any entries until pullbacks, and wait for this to pull back and fail, and then maybe start to do that. We're waiting for that lower high. And at some point, we'll watch center mass here for the group people, strategy stuff. We'll watch center mass, and our invalidation point is going to be the high, obviously. So we're going to try to sell as close as we can to the high without breaking it. As of right now, that's what it looks like. Now that can change. I'm going to throw on YouTube a bone there on what we're going to be looking to do. If you're not already short from the higher high, which should be probably, I don't know what that is, lower time frame thing. There's no reason to. Well, there's your dollar. All right, so we got a possible high of the day on the dollar index here. So depending on how aggressive you want to be, could start scaling into dollar pairs maybe. I don't know. We'll see. NASDAQ, same situation. I think it's just in the clouds. It's so high. We're waiting for this to come back to reality. There's a big short here, guys. Coming. We're waiting for it to show itself. Trying to catch on higher highs every time, but there's a big retracement minimum coming back. So we could have a downside bias for the next week or two very easily. We'll see how that plays out. That's on the table. Something to pay attention to. Now you don't want to go selling it now. You don't start selling it like this. It's already blown out for the day. Things already down. Not going to start selling it when it's down. We exceeded our daily low already. Skip it. Oil. Waiting for this too. We're waiting for this to go up, and we've been trying to catch this long. I'm hoping it breaks the low and gives me another chance. I have an alert down here. This was from last week. I have an alert just in case it does break the low. Need to have an alert. We'll be watching it anyway. I'll save my alerts. But if this were to come back and make a lower low, I already know what I'm going to do. I hope this pulls down a little bit, honestly. But if it starts to, I mean, technically we want to be long oil. You know, we're already long oil and waiting to see if we need to put another position on. This is a 30% move here, guys. On oil. Monster. High probability kingmaker trade. So we're watching that one. There's nothing to say. We've been watching it for weeks. All over it, waiting for the move. Waiting for the follow through volume. Gold. Not a fan right now at the moment. We're up on the high, distributing. Take a look at the dollar real quick. Hold on. Man, voice wrecked. Yeah, again for a day trade here. Tempting to take a short-term rejection just for a day trade and get out on the dollar stuff. Like you're looking for something, group people looking for a trade here. Short-term rejection right here, probably. But yeah, gold. Probably nothing except where the dollar is. If that dollar, if the US dollar does reject here, like I think we were talking about this earlier, like there's probably going to be a bullish candle here. There's probably going to be like a pop up, you know, maybe this kind of thing. Depends on how far back the dollar pulls. There'll be an inverse relationship here, but gosh, sorry guys, my voice is roasted right now. Yeah, I could see like some kind of day trade pop to the upside. I would have to look at it on lower time frames. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of back to the open almost. Yeah. You could be aggressive and buy. If this would come back just a little bit lower, I would probably look to buy into it with a weaker dollar. There's just not much to do right this second. Let's see. Yeah, not much to say right now with this on gold. I know a lot of people trade gold. I wish there was more to report, but like this big move back here kind of messed everything up. And it's been grinding back up through that chart, or through the chart. Well, through the chart, but through that candle. Yeah, it's just, this feels like this kind of distribution right now. So as of right now, we'll wait and see what's going to happen, but I could see if the dollar rejects that the next 4-hour candle could be up. I wouldn't sell it. It's not a short. It's just in a consolidation. It just may not be the best thing to mess with, period. Might just skip that today. Skip gold. So what's the big takeaway here? What are we looking for? Watching the dollar, obviously. Good move up on the dollar. We want to be long dollar overall. Just not from here. It's already made the move today. I could see it pulling back, but if it pulls back, maybe we'll get back long here and we'll expect some kind of a range here as the week goes on. There's a possibility we get something like this. If it pulls back, goes into a consolidation and then ends up higher, that's a possibility, and maybe we could get long back down here. The yen, skip it for now. It's a contraction until this range contraction expands, until we break a high or a low and expand the range. Probably leaving it alone. Dollar stuff, skipping it. I mean, yeah, yen skipping. The dollar stuff could potentially be a pullback. Like even euro dollar here after this big nasty candle, there's a pretty good chance that the next 4-hour candle could be up, you know, like that. And maybe we can catch a day trade on that. Yen skipping it. You know, what's the big takeaways here? You know, on the big 4 hour, 4 hour analysis. What's the big takeaways? Structure, market cycle wise. What are we looking at? Euro pound, I could see that moving up a little bit. Looks like the euro is, I could see how some of the euro pairs could move up a little bit short term. So there may be some like day trade longs on the euro. Pound CAD, we're going to watch that one. That's definitely on the list. I think pound Kiwi was another one. Pound New Zealand is definitely going to be one that we should probably watch because it's on a lower low here. Very good, very high probability long, but you want to buy it as low as you can. Skip those. Jesus, man, I'm struggling with my voice today. I don't know what's going on. Dollar CAD. Want to be long. We definitely want to be long on this. If it would break the low, I'm going to go for it on this one. This is one of those trades. I think this is going to be one of those trades that just very high probability, high profit trade. We've been watching this one forever. We've been waiting for this, and we've been right about it so far. And I think the structure is starting to show itself. And I'm going to wait for this to pull back. Every time we get this pulled back, I'm going to be looking to get into it. S&P, nothing right now. I mean, you can see where it is. What's the big takeaway here on the stock market? This is, again, the elephant in the room. This is the thing that nobody wants to talk about that needs to be talked about. Look at where this thing is right now. It's ridiculous. And it's going to pull back, and it's going to be painful, and a lot of people are going to get hurt on this. And, we're just kind of waiting for that to start. Maybe it's starting, but it's not a good short entry right now. We want this to pull back first. We're waiting for the pullbacks. We'll try to get in some better entries on this. I guarantee you when we look at this later, it's going to be quite a bit lower than it is right now. But we got to get the right entries. We got to wait for the right entries. Oil, same. We're waiting for the pullbacks there. Big, huge trade coming on oil. We want to buy the low of the week whenever we can. Yeah. Skip it on gold for now, probably. Gold's trading in a tight consolidation. Yeah, so the big thing right now, I don't know. We'll watch the dollar here. As far as today, probably just watch the dollar for a trade. Stock market's already moved. The dollar could potentially be in a place where it could reverse. Maybe some CAD stuff. We'll just slowly get back into it. Got a new year. Just ready to get it rolling. Going to get back in the game. We never really left the game, but had a couple slower days here over the last week or so, just because of the holidays, but we're going to get back in it here. We're going to put some points on the board. We're going to crush it. We always do. We kill it. Nothing else to do. Buttcorn, nothing to say. Good old Bitcoin. Waiting. It's on a higher high. Watch the stock market indices. If the stock market starts to sell off, careful here. Let's just watch the dollar for right now. I think this is going to be the thing today, as far as group stuff. Let's see what's going on with the dollar here. We're pushing up into a supply level. We know we've exceeded our daily range. Maybe watching this 4-hour high. If we get that, definitely going to take it. I'm going to take a position on that just for a day trade pullback. I want to know if we're going to beat this supply level. I think this is going to be the thing to watch right now. So anyway, hope everybody had a good new year. We're going to get it rocking here. I'm going to post this up so people can see it later and people on YouTube can see it. Everybody have a good trading week, and going to get into some group stuff here.